Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Nice to see you again. We're going to be talking today about how I feel like a lot of big corporations are economic and social suicide. Because we got to keep it real. We got to keep it kizzy on here. A lot of the big companies we got in this country have been putting so much pressure on us while demanding so much from us that really it's almost like stabbing yourself in the neck and then trying to drink from a fountain. So I mentioned this in another video, but it's really something crazy to think about, that this country essentially got started off of slavery and land pillaging from the native populations, which, by the way, a lot of black people misconstrue themselves as black when they're really natives to this land. But the land was taken, people were enslaved, and then after the slavery ended, majority or minority of the slaves were freed and allowed to generally work as normal as they can. And mind you, a lot of other people, immigrants, are in this country as quote unquote free men. The Industrial Revolution happened. And how did that look? Well, everyone worked like 60, 70-hour work weeks, and they worked kids to old people, ragged to the bones. I said before, like, a lot of kids lost their lives and their limbs in a lot of these factories. And that's just kind of how much these people didn't care about life. They cared about profits, and they cared about being devils and demons and demon worshippers. Because if you worship money, you effectively worship a demon, because you can't buy your way into heaven and you can't take the money with you when you pass. And then after that, we got to a point where the companies sold out because, mind you, after the Industrial Revolution, a lot had to be done to make the working bearable. And that's how you ended up with, post-World War II, the kicking 50s, which was seen as like this weird white man utopia. Like, when you look back at the 50s, that is probably the most fakest, weirdest time in American history. It's like, literally, it's like because it's like every man is supposed to, I know everyone was wearing like, suits and top hats, everything before, but now it's like, you got your suit and top hat, but then you want to make it casual, polo shirt and khakis, or if you were a young man, t-shirt and jeans with chucks, and with a, you put your thumb up, and all the advertisement that was starting to come on TV it was so fake and so corny. Everything needed a jingle, and just the black and white TV and the saturation, because now everybody's supposed to be getting a house, especially the veterans, and blah blah blah. Just this fakeness. But we had industry at its finest. Now everything is really being made in America. And then you get to the 70s, and China starts to be like, we need money. Everybody die here. And they start to open up globally, and they become the manufacturing spot. Why? Because they will undercut everybody in the world to build and sell them everything they already have. And the companies we have here, they were like, big brain. Oh, if we go to China, instead of building here and paying these people what they're worth, we can go pay the Chinese what they're not worth. Get products that we can sell back here and make basically infinity the profit. They never really considered that, hey, if you cut the jobs here, you are cutting out potential customers. And you're cutting out the best customers you could possibly have. The people that already work for you. Because not only will they work and get your product sold, they will buy your product anyway. So they will literally, like, do you realize that's better than a stock buyback? To just have your own workers buy within your company? Like, it's like the perfect money funnel. They basically make stuff for you to get money, they sell stuff for you to get money, and they give you money anyway, the money that you gave them. So literally you can get money back from them. I mean, But yeah, they sold out the American populace, and then because of that, we had to become a consumer economy where basically the economy is run essentially off of credit, where people need to buy so much that they buy with money they don't have. And the big companies are companies that sell things to America, mostly using a workforce outside of America. It also includes a lot of tech companies because, a lot of tech companies outsource in India and places like that. So, because of that, we're in the situation where we are now. Because not only did they do that, but the inflating value of the dollar and the incompetence of the government and industries as a whole, because there are all kinds of layoffs going on because of all these horrible hiring practices that these companies also manage to do at the same time too. For one, let's think about how incredibly offensive this kind of landscape is to our forefathers and foremothers that worked in the Industrial Revolution with no protections, and we're losing life and limb just to put crumbs on the table. They did all that work. They went through all that pain and suffering, and take it back to the slavers too, the slave people. They went through. Can you imagine working all day, dreaming about being able to just jump in some water and to just feel some grass without someone whipping your back? I mean, think about that. They went through all that only for their future generations to get sold out anyway, and then had stuff sold back to them. That is the epitome of degradation. And these companies, the industry, which means these companies and the government, they all form to combine the industry. That's my whole little, my saying. They have all come together to push our backs up against the wall so much by their incompetence and their greed, their thievery, and their overall tomfoolery, to the point now where people are maxed out. They don't have money, even if they theoretically are rich, especially by a lot of people's standards. Like, you got places like New York and San Francisco where living there on 100K, well, for San Francisco and whatnot, 100K, barely making it. New York, and people kind of just accept it. Again, that's part of the suicide, right? The suicide. That's part of the suicide, right? Because people think, man, yeah, that's just what it is in New York. 100,000. Like, that's terrifying, bro. Because when you look at a lot of other countries, hyperinflation, and like, for example, Japan, super inflated. 1,000 yen is $10, right? No. Yeah, 1,000, because 100 yen is like a penny. Yeah, so 1,000 yen is $10. 1,000. Why such a big number for such relatively low value? Come on, put it in your head, baby. Put it in your head. $10 is 1,000 yen. So if you had, for example, 100 yen coins, which are 1 cent, you would need to multiply that by 10. Holy crap, I'm bugging out here. No, 100 yen is 1 coin, so isn't 10? No, 1,000, or is 1,000 yen a dollar? It's 1,000 yen a dollar. Hold on a second, I gotta get the conversion rate. I'm confused. 1,000 yen is $6. That's not even $10. That's crazy. Well, either way, just put the image of 1,000 yen pieces, or 100 yen coins to just make 6 American dollars. There are some other countries where, like Naira and all that stuff, you get a bill for $1, it's like 10,000, 100,000, whatever. We're experiencing that. If $100,000 is poverty, bro, you're done for, bro. You I don't know how people haven't just given up completely, but that's because these same companies have been psyoping our brains to be consumers for so long that we're also too attached to many worldly things. All this advertisement saying we're the best at this, because that's very American, to keep saying you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. No, America is basically the land of the asshole if we keep in the butt, because everything in America is about taking, and it's about ranking, and it's about outbesting, and it's about competing. It's never just about, hey, we got a good product, we did what we could to make it good for you, here you go. And that makes sense, right? Because these companies don't really give a damn about us, and they love saying they're the best at this. Well, they're not even using the best kind of workers, they're not using the best kind of materials, and they affect our brains, and we think that's good. And again, that's how you end up killing yourself, whether it's from the food, from the clothes you wear on your body, from the entertainment that you ingest. Think about the princess syndrome that a lot of women had, that the red pillars lose their mind over, where women think, I need a man that can provide for me and get the bag and blah blah blah, because they just see influencers got a lot of money, and guys is like, yeah, my wife paid for this and paid for her nails. Or they see the Disney princess always get taken off to the castle by Mr. Amazing or Bubba Chuck Cuck, whatever. That's poisonous too. And so is suicide for the society and for the economy, because we're at the point now where we spend everything we could spend. You know, I mean, you guys have been raking up profits. You got all this money because you've been basically cutting us out so you can get the goods as cheap as possible to sell it to us as expensively as possible. And not only that, it's like, and you know what's crazy? Not only were they not satisfied with cutting out their own workers, you got places like Amazon trying to literally destroy the concept of a small business and trying to engulf small businesses into them. All these corporate buyouts of these companies, it's like, so now you won't even let us be like, that's why it's not even completely about money. They're trying to make us slaves. They're trying to keep us as slaves, because they don't want us doing anything without them. Like Jeff Bezos, you got billions of dollars, but you still want people to be disenfranchised so you can control what they sell. You're weird. You don't deserve to live. I mean, I'm being honest, man. Like, I'm not threatening him by any means, but what's the point of being alive if you can basically obtain the kind of life where you can shape it any way you want, and you are still focused on people barely getting by? All this drop shipping, because now we have this drop shipping era that we're living in, where you may be trying to find something, like for example on Etsy, you're trying to find something good quality, see something that costs like a price that you would take, like you want some waffle thermal blankets or something, and it costs $50 for 3. Then you find out it's from China. Then you find out it's not even real cotton. It's like rayon and some cotton, but polyurethane, and it's been sold on like 18 different sites and everything like that. We're here because of those companies. All these damaging things. And I'm be honest with you. I've shopped on Temu. Shopped a couple of things on Temu. Why? Because when it comes to getting legitimately things that I would use for cheap, it makes sense. But if I want me a fancy sweater, you think I'm going on Temu? You done lost your mind. I'm not gonna get a sweater from Temu. I'm not gonna get no clothing from Temu. I'm either making my own clothes or I'm buying from a small business. Why? Because see, the thing about small business is the people that run them can't afford to just mess up, or at least they can't afford to mess up too often. Like, their mess ups have to be the general kind of mess ups you have, but they can't afford to be BS, right? And because they can't afford that, they actually have to care about you. But most of the time, these are real people. They don't have to worry about shareholders. They don't have to worry about one wrong thing loses billions of dollars of value. They don't worry about that. They just do what they like to do. Do what they want to do. Be going in on what they like. Trying to give you what you want. What you need sometimes. That's why I like small businesses. That's why I'm a small business. Because small businesses work. They just work when it comes to the common folk. See, big businesses have their place because they're able to give us the biggest innovations. They're able to give us the biggest spectacles. They're able to give us crazy good products at either sometimes they can make it to the masses, like for example cars. Cars are crazy products now, and a lot of these corporations give us a lot of decent cars, but at the same time most of them are overly expensive now, but I mean still there. But the thing is when corporations get to the point where they want to be monopolies, or they want to own, they want to own the whole field of whatever state or county they're in and everything, like, then they become parasites, quite frankly. Because why do some of these corporations, you go into meetings and everything, they're all like, yep, we did not hit our goal for this and this, but they're still in profit, hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, but they're not hitting goals. You're in profit. If that's all that matters. You have extra money. How about you stop talking about what your employees are not doing to make the profits and start talking about what you are supposed to be doing with the profits, Mr. CEO, Mr. Sir? Because let's keep it busy. If we got profits, that means that's excess money for you to be investing into us. So you're too busy talking about what goals we didn't meet. What goals do you even have behind your back? Because if this money is not success, then what is this money to us? What is this money to you? It's his bonus. So I just think to myself, really like hard that if we're going to improve as a society, we have to stop this over-reliance on big businesses. Over-reliance. Because again, like I said, they're like YouTube. I like YouTube. I like using YouTube. YouTube is fluid, and I've been using YouTube since almost the beginning, 2006. I'm okay with it. Although the corporatization on YouTube is, frankly, it's kind of stupid, because YouTube keeps trying to be like, we want to get the most amount of viewers possible with families, so you can't say this and that. And it's like, you do realize the average family watches R-rated movies together, right? This is not the 50s. The average family, the 9 and 10 and 11 and sometimes 8, 6, 7-year-olds, they're playing Grand Theft Auto. They're watching Aliens. They see mature content. What to do? You know how many kids watch Stranger Things? Yeah, that's not appropriate for children per se, but they be watching it. But let me guess, your big mouth gets all the awards on everything, and it's funny because they be YouTube be bigging up these content creators that have these weird thumbnails that try to attract children in the weirdest ways, and they just kind of let it go. It's like, well, again, whatever. But in general, besides that, I do like to use YouTube. I like it as a business. But to be frank, it'd be great if there was something else I could use that wasn't so, like, I guess I guess a Rumble, I guess what's the other thing, BitChute or whatever. But when you're trying to grow an audience, YouTube is kind of best to start, and then you probably try to transition to those. But the fact that they're there is good. The fact that there is an alternative, because if YouTube ever gets to that point where they're like, okay, we hate all of the old people that we had on here, we want a new sterilized force, then we have something to go to. But that's not what YouTube really wants, because YouTube is like, okay, we don't really want you posting videos, but low-key we still want you watching YouTube. If they had it their way, they would just buy BitChute and Rumble out and then take them out the way. But see, that's the problem with these big companies. They think they deserve every single last penny and nobody can have anything. Small businesses do not think that way. Small businesses go out and they sell. Now, there is always some feeling of, okay, that person could be taking my customers. But then I think to myself too, why isn't that, like, why can't we all just have customers? Like, Like, what does it matter if that guy goes and buys that guy's shirt instead of yours? I understand, that they're not buying yours, but if they weren't interested in yours in the first place, you were never going to have them and buy your stuff in the first place, bro. And they could just buy both. How about you just focus on the people that want to buy what you got? See, we got to stop competing in business. That's the reason why a lot of businesses, it's hard for businesses to succeed a lot of times. Because if we got to compete with each other, that basically means we're trying to make sure we fail. That's devilish, bro. That's devil talk. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because then, if you're the only person to buy whatever product from, me as a customer, that screws me, bro. That screws me. Because if you don't really have what I want, I ain't got no backups. I ain't got nobody else to go to. That's why competition. No, we need cooperation. Okay, we need to support each other, even if we may be selling the same thing. If I know a dude is selling shirts, and I'm selling some kind of shirts, if he gets more customers than me, maybe I need to sell somewhere else. Maybe I need to beef up how good my shirts are. Maybe I should go over and ask him, what kind of linens you use, what kind of cottons you use, pick his brain. See, like, what do you do? Because if he's a good guy, he'll tell me this is what I do, right? Because if there's more money in my pocket, then there's going to be, listen, if I get good money for my shirts and I go out and I spend money somewhere else, that money I give to someone else for their work, service, or whatever could go back into his pocket too. Go in mine, it's like, because that's the way money really is supposed to work. That's why it's a currency. It's supposed to flow. It's supposed to ebb and flow. That's why there's the river bank that banks the money in. And, money is very closely tied to the sea. It's sea terms, right? And what we kind of want with money is the money works best when it cycles. It goes from me to you to them, all back to me. You want your money to come and go, because when it cycles properly, you basically, it's not like you don't run out, because you always gotta keep up with yourself, and there are expenses to be had, and there are lull times, and not everything is a good time, so money sometimes isn't there. But at the very least, when it's in a current that it cycles itself properly through the exchanges of small businesses and people amongst the community, the money kind of stays there. You know what I'm saying? That also kind of increases that value of money, because when you guys go outside of your community and outside of that current to get money from other webs, it kind of like sticks. Think of it like a network. See, we don't really network our money properly and keep them within ourselves and outwardly. I'm explaining it in such a layman's way because it's more complicated than that. But again, that's the problem what we're having with a lot of big corporations now, is the products that they have kind of are made to siphon money from us, and then they go to other people, but the money just doesn't come back. That's why I was talking. That's why, like, I had the example of, you're better off as a big corporation of trying to have some of your best customers be people that work within the corporation, because it creates a money cycle, and it keeps the money there anyway, even if you're making something. That's why it's so bad that they sold us Americans out for the Chinese, and now they're talking about India is going to be the next power, because India is going to take care of manufacturing and Mexico is going to take care of manufacturing. But what about America? What about the good old USA? We're still not going to be making nothing. Life don't work like that. You gotta think about it like this, man. Another reason why these big corporations are economic and social suicide, you gotta go back to Genesis, right? We were created. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Bahashem, Raha Kodesh, He created us. He created everything. So what does that tell you? That the basis of value in this world is creation. That's why we humans are who we are. When they say made in the image of God, do not just think about God physically, because he's not a physical being, he's a spiritual being. So if he's a spiritual being and not a physical being, what does image really mean? Because think about the word imagine too, because God had to think about these things when he made it. Image, imagine, in the imagination of God, in the image. We were specifically made to come here to procreate, to create. The first command God gave us men and women: be fruitful and multiply, then subdue the earth and the animals. So the first thing we had to do was procreate with each other, and then we had to subdue the earth. How do we subdue the earth? We create houses, we create tools, we create boats, we create all this stuff, because that's subduing the earth, because we're forming the earth as we see fit. And then that leads us in subduing the animals, keeping them controlled and part of the commandments. Creation is humanity itself. That's what we do. That separates us from all the other animals, even the animals that create, because they create just based off of instinct, like beavers, for example, or animals that dig burrows and stuff. Yeah, sure, they create, but they can't help it. That's just what they. That's just. I'm speaking in beaver. But for us, we create all kinds of stuff. We just be making it and think about it. We got a river in front of us. We build a bridge. We got an ocean in front of us. We build some boats. We got a mountain in front of us. We make a ski resort. We have to understand that humans want to create. In any kind of entrepreneurial job and job we do, you're creating something. Creating is a facet of life. These big corporations took the creation away from us. The manufacturing. Why do you think that hurt America so bad? It's not just, don't even think of the word manufacture. Think of the word create. They took away the creation from us. And if humans are not really creating anything, that's why why do you think so many children, so many young people feel like they don't have value? Why do you think depression and mental health, quote unquote, is at an all-time high? These children are not creating nothing. They have nothing to look forward to creating. Even with the high-paying job, they're just under someone else's creation, and all this person gets to create all the rules and gets to create all the product and all this, but the most you're gonna do is you gotta stay in line, stay shaped up, stay dressed up, stay this, and then just move this article here, and then move this paper here, or flip this burger here, or just drive this pizza there, and blah 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 blah. But you're not making anything of your own to give to someone else and to put yourself in that fire yourself. Because, small businesses, if we have more small businesses, I feel like a lot of businesses wouldn't even need to be super successful. Because what things cost in the way they do, even if you do a small business, you damn near gotta make corporation money to make it worthwhile. Because even though I do get paid pretty good for being a photographer, I be having to get paid a lot. And sometimes that kind of sometimes I gotta even turn down customers, because personally I would like to shoot as much as I can to keep my skills sharp and have my portfolio big, but sometimes people, they're just not paying enough. And a lot of times people might be like, you got I'm $175 an hour, but they kind of want me for 100. For 100 hours, I'll show up for 30 minutes, but no, they want 3 hours, and they just won't take me. It makes a lot of people also, because they don't create themselves. The amount of people with a lack of creativity and a lack of understanding of creation and creativity, that's how you end up having a society feeling like there's just nothing worth living for, because they're not creating. And guess what? That's why they're not having babies either. They're not even procreating. Creation is the essence of our life out here. And these companies, they're taking it from us. And that's why you start seeing building architecture becoming bland. That's why you start seeing all these brand logos just being, two-toned and there's no spice to it like we had in the 90s and the 80s and stuff. There's no spice. Everything is ESG and DEI and all that. When they take that creation out of us, man, they're taking the Ruach HaKodesh, man, the Holy Spirit. And when you don't have that spirit, and you're not alive, you're dead. You're dead walking. And that's painful to deal with. So I feel like America is going to go down simply because we're too far gone to go back to that model of having a lot of small businesses out there and businesses within communities that help each other, and then manufacturers and corporations kind of actually being part of the community and being a big anchor for many people to have jobs, reliable jobs and stuff like that. Because that's really what I think the most effective way for a big company to be what it is to be a place where okay, I don't know what to do with my life. I'm gonna just go work at Coca-Cola, figure it out and work at Coca-Cola and can make a decent living because everyone works there and Coca-Cola sells products everywhere else, and it's just a place for your city to go. And then for the smaller businesses around doing their own little thing, the average, maybe a teenager goes in there, works there, somewhere down in their luck, and there's an open availability at the shoemaker or something like that. I don't know, something, right? I don't think we can have that to the extent that we need. But maybe when America, our economy falters and blows up completely, we just need a restructuring. We have to just not be dependent so much on bigger businesses, and we have to, withhold our wallets, and we have to build up our smaller businesses because those are the ones that care about us the most, and they're also going to give us the best quality for the products that we want and for the products that we need. There are a lot of, we at the point, man, I remember me and my wife, we had this bread baked by this local guy in the neighborhood. This bread is A1. You taste the Publix bread basically kind of tastes fabricated compared to his bread. But, if you think about the ingredients to make bread, it's really not too many ingredients. It's just a couple. Then you bake it, whatever it's flour, wheat, barley, eggs, whatever. You look at the bread in Publix and they have so many ingredients in there. It's I thought you businesses kind of put the least amount of effort into something and sell it. Why do you have so many ingredients? That just sounds like you're being too complicated. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe they're just doing it for no reason. I don't know. It's almost like we're at the point where I don't even know why these big companies even exist anymore. Because now they're doing they went from just basically cheapening out for to sell products at a high margin to now they're trying to do all this extra to the product. Just think about how YouTube operates. YouTube. Why are you I know advertisers this and that, but if you think about it, why do you have to police so much on the site? If advertiser doesn't want to advertise with someone, that's on them. You're still YouTube. Where the fuck else are they gonna go? They gonna go to Rumble? They ain't finna go to Rumble. They ain't finna go to BitChute. Those are big platforms, yeah, but you're still YouTube. So if they don't want to advertise to you and all the millions of people there, then let them go. Someone else is gonna come. Oh wait, maybe not, because all these businesses, there's less and less small businesses out there. So economy getting bad, maybe they won't return. I don't know, but maybe that's why you got that company. You got the leverage. So why not let people say certain things that maybe kids shouldn't hear, but then the parents should not let their kids watch that? Why do I have to say Cocoa pandemic instead of saying the actual thing and then get flagged? That's weird, because it's do you want people to know that even happened? That even existed? Crazy. crazy. It's like they're just, it's like they want to kill themselves. These companies just want to kill themselves, man. They really do, because they don't really serve a purpose anymore. Because they're not even, it's not there. Because once they stop even trying to make money, it's like, bro, you're not no king. You're not government. Your job isn't to decide how people live their lives and how they speak. You know, your job is to be a tube for you, YouTube. So, like, well, you know, like, why you even have the name? You know, you don't even live up to what the name is. But that's what we have. That's on us as a society, because we wanted this, because we wanted leisure, and we didn't want to think about the hard things going on. Oh my boys. Too many people let the politics pass them by, and the only thing they ever thought about was who's running for mayor and who's running for president, sometimes senate, government. Man, I don't know. There's so many levels in like politics that is, boy, that shit's crazy. But I've been rambling on long enough. You know how the videos are. You know how black YouTube is too. You know how black YouTube is. Us black YouTubers, we be talking. We just be talking and shooting shit. Because black YouTube is basically the barbershop. We're all barbershop talkers. I think that's what makes it so interesting. Because you basically, like, when we talk, you understand completely what the fuck we are thinking. That's how black YouTube works. We go up there, because, like, shout out to Sergeant Willie P. That man be talking hours about all kinds of subjects. And he delivers it so well. And that's what I'm trying to get. Like Thomas, so well. But I hope you guys support small businesses and use big businesses, more so utilize big business. I think that's what you gotta do. Don't be dependent on big business for everything in your life, and don't be looking to them first for, you know, go for quality over quantity. And the times where you don't need quality, okay, check out big businesses and everything. But use big business like a tool, and use small businesses like a culture. You know, because the people that look at you face to face and shake your hand when you buy something from them, you know, those are the people you want to get your stuff from. And you'll thank me later, because you'll live a healthier life for it. Especially when it comes to clothes, and especially when it comes to food. You know, you don't want to entrust yourself to a corporation where nobody really likes to be there, or everybody leaves after a couple of years, like tech corporations. Like, how we gonna trust these motherfuckers? Are the people that be making our algorithms and AI be gone a year and a half after we, come on. But, you know, support the small businesses, because when you support small business, you support yourself. And you know what? I don't even want to call it small business. Why we gotta call it small just because they don't sell billions of dollars? It's a business. Local business. Sometimes your statewide business. Just support businesses ran by people who want to create the way God made them for. See you guys later.